welcome to the deep dive. You know, we spend our time wading through information, trying to sort out what matters. But imagine if that information burden wasn't just part of your job. It was your job, pretty much.
And lives depended on it.
Exactly. That's the reality for so many doctors and clinicians today. They're just buried under clinical documentation.
Yeah, it's really become a critical issue. Our sources laid it out pretty starkly. We're talking, on average, physicians spending maybe 2 to 3 hours every single day.
Just on documentation.
Just on documentation. And some studies suggest it's even higher, maybe like a third of their total working hours. It's time not spent with patients, obviously.
A third of their day just charting.
Sure.
That's honestly hard to wrap my head around. And we know this isn't just, an annoyance. It's fueling burnout, right?
Absolutely. The link is undeniable. The stats are pretty alarming. Something like over 63% of physicians reporting burnout symptoms in a recent year. That number. It should really make everyone sit up and pay attention.
63%. Wow.
And it's not just about the doctors feeling stressed. Burnout directly correlates with worse outcomes. We're talking things like self-reported suboptimal patient care, more major medical errors, even studies linking it to higher hospital mortality rates.
So it's a patient safety issue, fundamentally.
It is, and a massive financial drain, too. The estimate was around $4.6 billion annually just in the U.S. tied to burnout costs.
Okay, so the problem's clear. It's urgent. It's costly in every sense.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission for this deep dive, then, is to look at potential solutions coming from technology, specifically how AI, things like AI note generation and optimizing templates, might actually help tackle this.
Right. Can technology offer a way out or at least a significant improvement?
So where do we start? How are these AI tools actually supposed to work in a clinical setting?
Well, the big buzz is around AI scribes. These often run on large language models, LLMs, the AI tech that's gotten really good at understanding and generating human-like text.
Like ChatGPT and similar tools, but aimed at medicine.
Kind of, yeah. But specifically trained and designed for the clinical context. So typically, an AI scribe application uses automatic speech recognition, ASR, to listen to the conversation between the doctor and patient.
Okay, so it records the visit audio?
It captures the audio, yes. Then it processes that audio transcript using the LLM. And here's the key part. The LLM doesn't just give you a word-for-word transcript. It analyzes the content, understands the clinical information, and generates a structured medical note.
Structured how? Like in the standard formats doctors use?
Exactly. Like SOP notes, subjective, objective, assessment plan, or maybe BIRP notes, behavior intervention response plan, which you see more in behavioral health. Mm. The AI identifies the symptoms, the findings, the plan, and puts it in the right place in the note template.
Okay, so it's summarizing and organizing, not just typing.
Precisely. And some of these tools can even go a step further, maybe drafting patient instructions based on the visit, or even suggesting follow-up email text.
And the speed. Is this happening instantly, or?
That's a huge part of the value proposition. The aim is near real time. Sources mention examples where a draft note and instructions could be ready in, seconds or a couple of minutes after the conversation ends. Some claim as fast as 60 seconds.
60 seconds?
Yeah.
Compared to potentially hours of manual charting later, that's transformative, if it works reliably.
It really could be. Think about the efficiency gain. But it's also about something the sources called cognitive freedom.
Cognitive freedom. What does that mean in this context?
It means the doctor isn't trying to juggle listening to the patient, examining them, and thinking about how to phrase everything for the electronic record all at the same time.
Right, that constant mental task switching.
Exactly. Instead, they can be fully present with the patient, make eye contact, focus on the interaction. They can trust, or at least hope to trust, that the AI is capturing the needed info in the background.
That alone sounds like a massive improvement for the quality of the doctor-patient interaction. Okay, so AI scribes are one major avenue. What about improving the existing systems, the EHRs?
Yeah, that's the other key piece. Template optimization within the electronic health record. It's maybe less flashy than AI scribes, but it's a really practical, complementary approach.
So making the templates doctors already use better?
Essentially, yes. Making them smarter. Instead of having to manually type in data that already exists elsewhere in the patient's chart, like, say, recent vital signs or lab results, an optimized template can pull that information in automatically.
Ah, okay. So it populates fields for you.
Right. And it can use things like structured pick lists more effectively. So instead of typing out common findings, you might just click an option. It reduces the amount of free text typing needed for standard information.
Less typing, less searching around in the chart. Makes sense. Was there data on how much difference this makes?
There was a really interesting pilot study mentioned in the sources. It looked at optimizing newborn note templates for pediatric residents.
Okay, newborns. What did they find?
The results were pretty significant. Residents using the optimized templates saved, on average, 23 minutes for each infant's hospital stay.
23 minutes per baby.
Per baby. Think about a busy nursery or NICU, how many babies they see. That time adds up really quickly.
Absolutely.
And they also measured the actual interactions with the EHR, the clicks, the keystrokes.
Yeah.
The optimized templates cut down those actions by 69 per encounter.
Wow. 69 fewer clicks and keystrokes every time they document on a newborn. That's not just time, that's reducing the sheer drudgery and physical effort.
It really is. So you combine that kind of template efficiency with the potential of AI scribes drafting whole notes, you start to see the potential for real, tangible benefits.
Okay, let's focus on those benefits then. We've got the time savings, clearly. What else do the sources highlight?
Well, that save time is huge, as we've said. It means potentially seeing more patients or spending more quality time with the patients they do see, or, crucially for burnout, maybe just finishing work on time more often.
Which feeds directly back into improving job satisfaction and potentially retaining doctors.
Definitely. But beyond time, there's also the potential for better accuracy in the documentation.
Accuracy. That feels a bit counterintuitive. Wouldn't an AI introduce new kinds of errors?
That's the critical question, and we absolutely need to get to the challenges. But the potential for improved accuracy comes from reducing manual data entry. When the system automatically pulls a lab value or a medication dose from another part of the chart, you avoid typos or transcription errors.
Okay, I see. For specific data points.
Right. And some studies, carefully managed, have shown AI summaries matching or even sometimes exceeding human-generated summaries in terms of capturing the key clinical information.
And we know accurate records are vital for patient safety, don't we?
Absolutely fundamental. Better records with fewer errors lead to safer care. It's linked to lower mortality, fewer adverse events, because the whole care team is working off the same correct information.
So, potential wins for the doctor's well-being, system efficiency, and patient safety through accuracy. What about the patient's direct experience?
We touched on the cognitive freedom aspect. A doctor who isn't glued to the computer screen feels more engaged, more present. That improves the whole feeling of care for the patient.
Builds trust, maybe?
Could well do. And another potential patient benefit is that LLMs might be able to generate summaries of the visit for the patient that are easier to understand than the technical clinical notes. More readable, plain language explanations of their condition and plan.
Empowering the patient with clear information. Okay, the potential benefits are stacking up: less burnout, better accuracy, safer care, improved patient experience. It sounds almost too good to be true.
Right.
Which means we need to talk about the catches, the limitations, the risks.
You're right to pause there, because the challenges are significant and it's absolutely crucial to understand them. This isn't plug-and-play magic. It's early days for widespread adoption in such a complex field.
So what are the biggest red flags or hurdles?
Number one has to be the potential for errors in the AI output, and not just simple typos. The sources talk about insidious errors, things that might not be immediately obvious.
Like what kind of errors?
Errors of omission, the AI just leaves out something critical that was discussed. Or errors of fabrication. This is the hallucination problem you hear about. The AI literally makes things up.
It invents medical facts.
It can invent plausible sounding but completely incorrect information, a test result, a diagnosis, a medication that was never mentioned. Because fundamentally, LLMs are predicting the next likely word or phrase based on patterns in their training data. They don't know medicine or have inherent factual constraints.
That sounds incredibly dangerous in a medical context.
It is. There's also substitution replacing correct information with incorrect details. And the output can be variable. You might get a great note one time and a flawed one the next.
Well, the core reliability of the AI's output is a major concern. What about other technical issues?
Yeah, they're practical things too, like accurately distinguishing voices. Who is the doctor? Who is the patient? Did a nurse pop in? That can be tricky without specific voice training or systems designed to handle multiple speakers well.
Right. The AI might mix up who said what.
Or it might miss important nonverbal cues, a grimace of pain, a hesitant gesture. AI listens, it doesn't see those things. It might also include irrelevant chit-chat. Or if the recording isn't stopped and started properly between patients, it could potentially merge information from different encounters.
Okay, needs careful handling. What about specific types of notes? Does it work for everything?
Maybe not equally well for all types. Something like a detailed procedure note often relies on very specific, structured language. Traditional dictation software uses hot words or macros to expand short phrases into long, standard descriptions. Current LLMs don't typically work that way. They're more free-flowing. So for very structured reports, templates, or explicit step-by-step dictation might still be needed.
Got it. So accuracy and technical limits. What about the data itself? Patient privacy must be a huge issue.
Absolutely massive. You're dealing with incredibly sensitive personal health information. Any system like this has to be fully compliant with regulations like CAIPA in the US or the DPDP Act in India and similar laws elsewhere. Ensuring data security and privacy, both in transit and at rest, is non-negotiable and technically complex.
And the risk of bias creeping in.
Another critical challenge, AI models learn from the data they're trained on. If that data reflects existing biases in healthcare, maybe different ways doctors tend to document symptoms or treatments for different demographic groups, the AI could learn and even amplify those biases.
So it could inadvertently perpetuate health disparities.
That's the risk, yes. It's vital that developers actively work to identify and correct bias in the training data and algorithms.
And then there's the whole legal side. Who's responsible if an AI makes a mistake that leads to harm?
That's a really murky area right now. There isn't a clear, comprehensive regulatory framework for AI in clinical documentation yet. Liability is often unclear, but in many places, the buck still stops with the signing physician. They are ultimately responsible for the accuracy of the medical record.
So even if the AI generates the error, the doctor could be held liable.
That's often the current reality, yes, which underscores why human oversight is absolutely essential. The AI can generate the draft, but the clinician must carefully review, edit, and verify everything before signing off. It's assistance, not replacement.
Okay, and one last practical hurdle, just getting these new tools to work with existing hospital systems.
Yeah, integration is a big one. Hospitals often have complex, sometimes older legacy EHR systems. Getting a new AI tool to integrate smoothly, securely, and reliably with that existing infrastructure can be a major technical and logistical challenge.
Right, so a minefield of potential issues alongside the potential benefits. Accuracy, hallucinations, technical limits, privacy, bias, liability, integration, and the absolute need for human review. Where does that leave us? How do we move forward?
Well, the good news is that development is ongoing. People are actively working on improving error detection, making voice recognition better, creating smoother integration pathways.
So the tech will just keep getting better.
Hopefully, yes. But it's not just about the tech improving in a vacuum. Continuous feedback from the clinicians using these tools in the real world is vital. They need to report what works, what doesn't, where the pitfalls are, so the models can be refined to meet actual clinical needs.
A constant improvement cycle based on real use. Any hints in the sources about what might be next down the line?
There are some interesting possibilities. Imagine AI integrating real-time data from, say, a patient's wearable device directly into the note. Or using AI analysis of encounters, anonymized of course, as a training tool for medical students or residents.
So potentially moving beyond just documentation assistance.
Further down the road, perhaps. But the immediate focus really needs to be on getting the current applications, the scribes, the template optimization right, making them safe, reliable, and effective.
It definitely feels like we're at a pivotal moment. So much potential, but so much that needs careful navigation.
That sums it up well. The promise for tackling burnout is real, but realizing it safely requires addressing all these challenges head on.
Okay, so bringing this deep dive to a close, it's pretty clear that intelligent clinical documentation, these AI scribes, the LLMs, the optimized templates, offers a significant potential upside. It could genuinely give doctors back precious time fighting that burnout crisis we started with.
It absolutely could. But, and it's a big but, we have to keep hammering home that this is still relatively early days for broad adoption. The challenges we discussed, accuracy, privacy, bias, liability, integration, they're all very real and need careful, ongoing management. And above all, the critical need for that human oversight. The doctor has to remain in control.
It's definitely not a silver bullet. It's a powerful new tool, maybe, but one that needs to be implemented thoughtfully with guardrails and continuous learning. Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe something for you to mull over. As AI takes on more of these documentation tasks, what does the future role of the physician actually look like? How do we make absolutely sure that this technology enhances, rather than erodes, that vital human connection at the heart of medicine?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? How technology serves rather than supplants the core of patient care.